Hey, we're here at Hurricane, Utah for Trail Hero 2025.
And today we ran the Fallen.
Starting day 2, we were hitting the Fallen, one of my absolute favorites, if not my favorite trail here. It's got outstanding obstacles, but it's more for me the experience and the story behind the Fallen than it is anything else. And we got to do it with the Gilmores. We love the Gilmores, and this is the first time I got to see them since last year. So, and I love those guys. So really excited to see them and get to spend the day on the trail.
Fun fact, when you're doing harnesses, always secure the lower lap belt before you do the uppers. That way it keeps you seated and you don't end up wearing this thing across your sternum. We're also going to throw our rugged headset on so we have comms. Let's go see what the Fallen does for us.
I was literally there and all of a sudden I just started falling and falling. And again, because these tires are so wide, every time you turn it, it like moves you 3 inches. And so I just started going, and before you knew it, I was down in there.
I just happened to look away from Gary and see gridlock basically on its side.
Yeah.
Alter ego on its side. And I was like, I think he's in trouble.
I was at the very end of the group, not really paying attention.
Can someone come over here and on my passenger side pull me off all these rocks, please? I would love you for it. Coming up next.
So Andy was just getting into the trail, and Andy was like a 90 degree. I'm like, why is Andy facing that way? Which I was already out of the vehicle, so I didn't hear the radio chatter. And that's when Nick was asking Andy for some help, and he was trying to get out of the trail. And then I looked ahead and I saw Nick, and he was, it was basically sitting right sideways.
What the hell's this guy doing?
Well, I thought he needed me back behind him. I didn't know he needed me up top.
So Robert jumps out of the group and goes up on the high side and pulled him over.
Let me out a little bit. No, keep it on there just in case.
Take it in just a little bit.
Now again, I thought I did a lot more damage to this thing than I actually did. You shot up, threw a winch on me, you know, and basically came to my rescue and pulled me out. That to me was probably the moment that I was like, oh, this is gonna be a really fun week.
Yeah, it's an impressive car. There's hours and hours and hours of work into that.
Yeah.
The full tube chassis, all the tube work on the cage, the pristine paint.
Yeah.
It's an impressive thing to see.
Yeah, and really unique and unusual too. I can't even remember the type of Jeep it was, but it was like a military like aircraft.
Is that a
like,
CJ-10A? Okay.
We'll fact check that, but it's a like unusual car to like I've never seen anybody do a build on it. I didn't even know this type of Jeep existed.
Yeah, that one I was hung up on, and I actually kept looking back at him like, tell me what to do. I did not want to scratch the side of my vehicle. And I think Gary ended up being up top. Somebody was there. I think it was Gary. Thank God for him, because I was just stuck. Like, I had no idea. He was able to guide me out correctly, and minor scratches that happened. I think it was just rock sliders. So yeah, I was not prepared to do that.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, so Nick let me drive Rockbug that day on the Fallen. I'm always nervous taking someone else's rig out, you know, just not knowing it and this and that. But honestly, that thing is it's pretty much a point and shoot. I mean, you just aim at the obstacle and that thing works. It's fun to drive. You know, the rear steer, you know, I wasn't playing with that a whole lot in the beginning, and then I started kind of playing around with that, and you know, I don't want to get used to something like that.
Yeah, he thinks he needs a new toy.
As you start the Fallen, you start a journey, is what the Fallen is all about, and it is an homage, you know, to our U.S. military and specific conflicts, the largest, you know, our large conflicts in our country's history.
Before me, and she had wheels up on that one, and that scared me, but I'm like, I'll try it. I did not have high hopes at all for that one.
Okay, Beyonce.
turns out that feeling was correct. But sometimes when I'm just at that vertical, my oil, I just start smoking. So, and it actually stalled on me. And that's the first time I think my vehicle ever stalled. So I didn't realize it stalled because my engine is so quiet and it wasn't doing anything. And I think he finally came up and realized that I had stalled. So that kind of, I think that scared me more than anything because I was up there sitting so long and then nothing was happening. But then it just started smoking. So it was just best to back down and go around.
But it's really not normal for your tank just pissing fuel all over everything. There is this great wall that's kind of favors the right side. You can easily drive around it, but you take it right down the heart of it, and with our wheelbases, the geometry is really nice, and it's something you wouldn't think you could climb, and it is that like grippy, slick rock, good tires, and you just walk right up the thing and kind of defy the laws of gravity. It's a great ledge to take on, and then right after that, then there is the polar opposite. So it's really a fire and ice kind of a deal, where it's just you creep and no problem. You come up to this next one, it's much more sheer, and it is full of sand. And so what you were just letting the car do its thing, now you gotta like give it a little onion there and like bang up and turn passenger into this thing around this rock.
Shit! Hey Chris, will you go back alter ego off of my tire?
Fallen is a great trail to hang out with friends of different build types, and there's a little bit of something for everybody, and you can do the big stuff or you can drive around it because you're not in a capable rig. There's stuff certain cars simply can't do.
Yeah.
And one car is going to be great at it, one car's not, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Little cars can get through all sorts of stuff the bigger vehicles can't.
This particular spot is one of those, like, to me it almost doesn't even seem like it really an obstacle. It's hard for me to call it an obstacle. The trail ends up into this like slanted notch, and to save your vehicle, you've got to put your driver's side tires up on the very tip top of this like edge. Otherwise you're gonna eat your car. But when you do that, like, you're gonna need tires and you're gonna need a lot of articulation to be able to do it. It will like max out the biggest car. It'll max it out as you're like rolling over this, just basically trying to save the side of your car.
I like V-notches. I'm a fan of them. I think it's a fun obstacle. No matter where they occur, where I find one, I enjoy doing them. With the stickies on the little JL, it really makes them even more fun, I think. It takes the ability of what you think you can do to another level, and the tires work. The side biters, the soft compound, the lightweight of the two-door JL, it just gets over stuff.
His TJ width on that, he's got the big pros, which help, but you've got less room for forgiveness. And so if your tire isn't just in the right spot, things can get crazy much quicker. And he stays, he's on this obstacle, he got crossed up pretty good. The back tire fell into the crack as opposed to tracking up the side. But, he doesn't panic. He listens to his spotters, he makes the adjustments, and he really gets that thing through some really awesome obstacles. And once he gets that thing lined up, it eats. It works really well.
It's an obstacle, I think, where tire placement is really key, because if you're too high, it's going to end up poorly for you. I think I had a good vantage point, maybe better than Gary, who was spotting her through it. And I could just see, hey, no, she's got to back up and move a little bit more to the right, and then she'll be fine.
What worried me more than anything was Dana's rig on the Fallen.
For sure.
And Gary kept saying, Nick, spot her. And I'm just like, I'm gonna die. Because if I scratch that thing, again, 2 or 3 years to build that thing, whoever's the first person to scratch it, you've got a 7-foot freaking man of Texas over there who's gonna bury you out there.
Yeah. My favorite part of that day is actually Dennis. He got really excited because I was gonna finally do these obstacles that I knew were gonna be tough. When I looked at it, I'm like, hey, this is gonna be really hard. He was super excited for me to go on this thing in our work Jeep.
Yes.
And
The same Jeep that he drove there that he had to drive home.
yeah,
Keep that in mind.
it almost rolled. But yeah, it was really, so it just made me more alert was all it was.
Yeah.
But here was another opportunity for me to learn a little more on, can I push myself? Dennis!
Yeah, dude.
Only one backup! Or reset.
Yes. Good work, dude. That's one of my favorites.
That's the one where his Jeep slid down in the first year he was here, and they winched him off that wall. That is the second time I've gone through that obstacle without getting a scratch on it. So I am very happy about that. I don't think I have much flex when it
You're
comes
welcome.
to
I taught you what not to do.
But no, that obstacle, you gotta have a good spotter for that one. I don't think I could ever go through that one blindly.
Go. Right there.
Yeah, I knew with the smile that he had that he was taking me down something that most people weren't going to run down. But again, you know, it's his rig, him spotting. He knows what the rig can do. I just kind of followed him and yeah, started going. I wasn't sure how far down I was going to drop, and it was all what, 9-foot drop, just dropping down with that thing. But again, I mean, that rock bug just kind of makes it effortless and feels good in there.
Share a section.
10 o'clock, I believe.
you got to really ride that wall thing. I think Andy is so long that he should just almost drive straight into it.
Yeah. So Z-turn to me is the most technical obstacle you're gonna see on the Fallen. That's the one that you gotta kind of come in, go over a hump, kind of make a left, and it's weird, but you gotta like drive into the crack and drop that tire in, and then as you climb out, this rear tire is gonna like follow it around, and then all of a sudden you just pop out and you don't roll over on your side. So I think I was the first person through it, and I dropped in low, and I was pretty down in there, threw that thing in a front dig and just pulled myself out of it. Had no rear, which was really cool, just to feel that go through there. Now I'm running PSC 3-inch rams and all that kind of stuff. You can really tell the different rigs and how their power steering is set up because of that right there. Because you've got to pull yourself off that wall down into that crack and go. Job going through that thing. I don't think that it was as safe or secure as you wanted it to be. I think you definitely felt like it wasn't comfortable at all. But again, you didn't panic. You kind of drove through it, which was good.
Yeah, and that's what was cool about that obstacle. Obviously, it's his second favorite one for me to go through. And I'm just like, okay, it's got to be really tough. You know, I know I'm going to be put in some weird situation. But you know what? After I went through it, it was like, oh, that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And it really helps once you got the right spotter in place, like getting that back tire down there and making that turn, like it was real easy to walk out of that.
I thought there was no way he was getting the Gladiator through that. But maybe that long wheelbase gives you a more stable platform, and you don't get wedged in. You're maybe higher on the wall, but that long wheelbase makes you feel more planted, even when you're more vertical up or down.
Yeah, I think so. I think you get up on that thing and driving, going hard driver and driving across that wall. That long wheelbase allows it to kind of stand there, but then settle into it. And so, yeah, it was awesome to see.
Nice turn. Keep going, up and out to the left. Okay.
Hell yeah, Robert.
Yeah, so Z-turn is one of probably my favorite obstacles here in Sand Hollow. It's really, really neat. As you are approaching it, you're kind of working through this narrow little slot, and there is a large, you kind of come up a step, there's a large boulder on your left, and there's just this wall, this back wall to this whole thing. And so you love driving straight at it. There's a few different ways to kind of like skin this cat, if you will, but I always like the driving onto the wall, just go straight at it, and then turning into it and letting the car turn and settle, and it makes that turn onto that large boulder to your left, and then you kind of just side crawl up that. This year it wasn't my cleanest effort. I kind of picked up and had to reset once, and then got the car settled. It didn't like drop into it like I normally do. I think I was a little late on my turn, but like that process is a very, very unique experience to like stand your car up, turn into it, stay with it, lift a tire, and just let it kind of fall into it. It's kind of a unique experience.
So it was cool to watch everyone kind of roll through that safely. Even like Dana made it through that thing pretty smooth too, because after that you're in like this V-notch thing in the backside, and you've got to keep your tires on there, but her rig is as wide as her tires. It doesn't stick out wide like this, so it's like you tip off and that body's going into that. And that back end, hopefully it's going to start falling down. Hold, you're good. You're good. You're good. Sit back in your seat, you're good. You're okay. Hold on. All right. The only person I really want to say struggled on that was Danielle. And the reason is because, again, of her steering. That's one of those things that it will show you the weak points in your steering, and hers is the hydraulic portion of it. It just doesn't have enough force to get her tires over where it needed to be, so she had to back up and realign. But there was a point where she was up there pretty good. Yeah. But again, she didn't panic. She drove herself out of it, which again, builds that confidence for the next thing, right?
That one I was very nervous because, again, with the steering being so hard, you have to maneuver a lot. And so I feel like it was a lot of extra backing up for me just to line things up. But that one I remember I was very tipsy on. And I think I saw Alexis's face during that one. And that one said a lot. I'm like, oh, your face looks like what I'm feeling right now. And that one actually scared me. I felt the teeter-totter on that one. That's not a great feeling. But they helped me. They told me what it was going to do, what I needed to do, and it came down, and I was fine. It worked itself around just like it should, and I went through it.
That's the only spot in Rockbug that I really felt a little uncomfortable, but I think Nick threw that front tire way high. I mean, that car has a lot of flex to it, but I felt like I was right down facing that rock.
So one of the last obstacles we got up to, which I think you bypassed that one.
I did, yes.
Which you know what, honestly, I think that's a smart idea because there's a lot of things you can explain just accidentally happened, but how are you going to explain driving into a 50-foot tall wall?
Exactly.
So we get into that thing. The first time I ever tried to take gridlock on that, I've never taken, I don't even know if I took the bug on it before, but the first time I tried to take gridlock on that, I actually put my tires in the hole and I drove up my axles.
Oh my gosh.
On that thing, and I beat the out of OG on that thing. This time with the rear steer, again, this thing showed me how wide I was. I was like a foot above everybody else, and I was still a foot over, not on the thing. I'm just worried I was gonna slide off of it, which a lot of people do, but I ended up walking it, doing it pretty smooth. The rear steer in this thing, again, is just clutch because as you're going in and you're dropping down, it works great. You know what I mean? It just kicked me off of it.
So the first year we were out here, I did the V-notch, and you have to back right in the wall. You got to get your rear end. I mean, you kind of got to play with it. Get your rear end tight over to it, drive up the wall almost to get you far enough over to where you're not going to slide in it. So coming up there with Rockbug, it was a whole different approach because I basically came up and just rear steered right into it. Nick guided me up it, and it felt way smoother than it did in my own vehicle. Felt like it just basically drove right across it. Even coming down at the end, because it's quite the ledge when you come down at the end, and the 44s definitely help on that vehicle, just soaking up all that.
Yeah, the crack is infamous. It's probably the obstacle that maybe gives it the 9. I've done it enough times now to kind of have its, I'm quite comfortable with it, and the trick with doing any crack is it's all about the rear end. And if you got to get those rear tires lined up right. If your rear is lined up, you're good. If it's not lined up, one of those tires is going to fall into a crack. It's going to twist you up. And when it does that, then it's going to pull the rest of the car down and you're going to be laying on your side inside of that crack. And so this particular crack doesn't lend you much space to get lined up because it's actually against a vertical wall. So to line up for this particular obstacle, you actually pull parallel to the wall and back up and get your tires right up against the wall. Then you start your ascent up it to get both your front and rear to track up that wall, get that pressure even on both, and then you drive off of it. But it's not over, because as you crest it, it opens up, but it leaves a vertical ledge on that driver's side. And so it is quite common for people to, on the exit of that, if you've got a full body or not wide tires, to kiss or really tight, take a bite out of your body on the exit of that, because there is a vertical wall there.
Dana has always tried that obstacle. No matter what vehicle she's in, she's never gotten it. I thought she had it this time in Still Soldier, but we ended up, her rear end is just a little bit too long, and she was on too much of an angle when she started it, and her rear end slid off. And when that thing slid down, I feel like you saw me on camera almost bolt, because I thought there was damage happening, and I was just like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't.
It was impressive, yeah.
Luckily it didn't. We threw a hook on it, yanked her off, and got her off of it, and then she bypassed the rest.
So once you get through the trail, you get to the top of the trail, and they have a memorial up there. And for everybody who's either been in the service, who has family that is in the service, that know people that have made the ultimate sacrifice. And people leave memorabilia around there with challenge coins and ribbons and just whatever is significant to them, and it's a great cap to that trail, and just makes it, for me, the most special one here.
It's a Chris Witt deli.
I don't need to make a full-on sandwich, but some cheeses between bread is definitely going to happen.
Best cheese sandwiches in Sand Hollow.
Frozen cheese sandwich.
In lieu of lettuce, just freeze your cheese.
We we kind of were like standing there, all staring around, looking at each other, like at the memorial, going, "It's like noon. Like we don't normally get this done this quick." So we decided to head over to Milt's, because Milt's has that, like right out of the gate. There's already some like great 1-2 punch, just some ledges, and it just starts hitting you right away. And it's kind of back towards the way to get out anyways. So we decided to go over there and play around with that, and we had some great times over there.
Milt is a fun trail. It's named after Milt Thompson, owner of Dixie 4-Wheel Drive here in St. George. I think you do yourself a disservice if you come to Santalo and you don't get on Milt's Mile. It's just a really fun trail, and it's a good trail to just go, and if you have a little extra time, just go play on a section of it. You know, and
yeah, you don't have to necessarily.
And there are multiple versions of it. You've got Milt's Mile, you've got Milt's Light. You can crisscross. You can do whatever you want. It's a beautiful thing about this wheeling this area. You can literally do whatever you want. Yeah. This year it's Moto. It's Moto Mile.
It's Moto Mile.
The Moto Mile.
Moto Mile. Yeah, awesome.